Welcome back.
Get those cats out right away.
Orion.
Ooh, Orion.
Orion is like, what the fuck?
It's like, God damn it, I was sleeping and I just being all comfy.
Get out. Get out.
We won't hear you screaming when you're going to come back in, though.
What do we watch tonight?
We watched Pieces from
Pieces.
1982.
Yeah, not the Reese's Pieces.
No. Juan Piquer Simon was the director of this masterpiece. Yes. Yeah, so it's a slasher, thriller. Awesome little movie. I've loved
bit of
this one for a long
mystery.
time. Yeah, a little bit of a mystery.
Yeah. Did you feel thrilled?
Yeah.
Okay.
There are a few times I would consider myself to be full of thrill.
From the movie? Or just in life in general?
No, not life. Life
Okay.
sucks. That's why I like watching so many movies, is because it's an escape from my miserable existence.
I agree.
Oh, okay. I was waiting on you to be like, I'm fine. No, I love this one. I was really excited to share it with you guys. Yeah, so we start off with, in my opinion, one of the coolest intros to a horror movie. Starts off with a little boy, and he's putting together a nudie puzzle.
A little nudie puzzle, you know.
yeah.
Every kid gets a
Like,
nudie
yeah.
puzzle at one
Yeah.
point.
Yeah,
or
when you're
another.
9.
And his mom walks in, and she catches him in the act, and she slaps the shit out of this kid a couple of times, and then blames it on her. Like,
Her
what is it? Like
absent
you're
husband.
just like your father.
It's like he has a history of being caught doing perverted things.
Right,
And she's
sure.
just fed up with it.
Yeah, she's done.
The child or the father?
The kid, I think. Right?
Yeah.
Kid.
Oh, okay.
Everything he does reminds her of dad. Maybe
I mean, that sounds like a personal problem.
it is a personal problem.
Yeah. For her. She shouldn't be taking it out on the son. Look what happened.
If you had a kid that, I don't know what I would do. If I had a kid that was putting together a nudie puzzle, I'd be all right with it.
I mean,
I have literally never heard of a jigsaw puzzle with.
porn was
Me neither.
more interactive back in the day.
That's what it was. Interactive porn. Just back in the day.
You
that's
had
what it
your
was.
puzzles, you had your coloring books.
Coloring books.
Yes.
How do you know this?
He's just talking.
That's
out
how
his
it
ass.
was in the 70s.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is in the 82 year of my birth.
Yeah.
The year of my birth. Anyway, so he's got a nudie puzzle, and I wouldn't mind having one.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I would
Yeah.
do a puzzle.
Well, a cool little thing actually. When I was
I want the
ordering.
nipple pieces.
Yeah.
You find the edge pieces. I'll find the
I'll
nipple.
find the nipple
I'll find the
pieces.
nipples in the bush.
There was a company that put this movie out. There's been a few different releases of it. I was unable to snag one of these, but the first 3,000 that this company put out actually came with the puzzle. I thought that was pretty cool.
fucking awesome. I
found
would
it-
buy that.
Well, you can. I found it on eBay, and I spend way more money than I should sometimes on movies. But people were selling them for like $300.
Yeah.
I
Would
was
you
like,
spend $300 on that?
N-
I'd be
If
really.
I was super drunk, if I was super drunk, I would. I'll be completely
I would be
honest.
really mad if I was one of those 3,000 people that bought it, and then there was a few pieces missing
Yeah,
in the
missing
puzzle.
a piece.
Oh yeah, that would suck.
Yeah.
Yeah. So mom slapping the shit out of him, cursing about dad. Slams a picture of their family, I guess, or something.
Or
I can't.
the husband.
Or the husband. I can't remember what it was exactly. Slams it against a mirror, and then in case you didn't catch it the first time, there's a slow-mo of it.
Which is the only other place I've seen that is old kung fu movies, like old Jackie Chan movies. They'll reduce, like if they have a really big stunt, they'll show it a second time. Sometimes like 3 or 4 times.
Okay, cool.
In slow motion.
In case you blinked.
But this one, I don't exactly know why the
Yeah, it was a
breaking
very-
of the mirror was so goddamn amazing that they had to show it a second time.
That was to show that was the child's mind breaking. That was the final, last
okay.
straw.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
I
why
gotta
not?
tell you, man, straight out the gates, I liked it better when you weren't here. I don't know what it is that you're doing. I'm kidding. I love you.
kill
Yeah.
myself.
So the mom. No, don't do that.
don't do that.
Oh,
No,
come
no,
on.
just-
No.
Looking for a chainsaw.
No, so the mom starts yelling at the kid like, "Go get a plastic bag so I could burn this shit." I think
Your junk.
yeah, it's
Your
so funny
junk.
because she just quickly repeats it so much, like, "Go get a plastic bag," and then, like a few seconds later, she's sifting through drawers, throwing out magazines and all this other pornographic paraphernalia that she's finding. She screams at him again, "Just get the damn bag!" or whatever. And yeah, so he comes back up.
Yeah, she turns around and she gets an axe to the head.
Axe to the fucking head, and it's really funny because the first blow is like just it's like
Yeah.
dunk, you know, like not much is going on, but the aftermath, we've got a neighbor outside that's concerned because she hasn't heard anything coming from the house, which I guess is sort of a sign of what kind of household this is, and maybe she's used to like hearing a bunch of screaming and yelling.
Yeah.
So the absence of it for about 15 seconds has alerted her that something is going on.
After she rings the doorbell for like 10 minutes.
Yes. Oh my God, that part drove me insane. And then she's calling the house. Police show up, and then whenever they come in to investigate the scene, that's where we kind of see like this huge bloody massacre. There's blood splattered all over the walls.
Oh wait, but we did before that though. We did see the kid with a saw.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
With a
yeah.
crazy
I
grin on
wonder
his face
where he learned that from.
to saw up the body.
Yes.
I don't know, but
I don't know.
It's a question that needs to be asked. Did he learn it from the dad? Did the mom kill the dad? Is that why the dad's not there? And he's on leave at the Air Force? I think the mom killed the dad.
It could
and
be.
Watched, and that's where he picked it up.
You know, and we'll never know. And I'm sorry.
I feel like you should know.
there's nothing we can do.
Why show us this shit if you don't fucking know? Yeah, so when the cops are up there, they're like, "All right, we should probably investigate the scene." And then they hear the kid crying from inside. Well, actually, first off, they see the severed head sitting on top
Yeah,
of like
as soon as he says, "Well, I guess we should investigate," he just immediately turns and opens the closet door, and the mom's head is on the dresser in the closet. And then he closes it. He's like,
and then you hear the kid crying. He's in a closet and he's screaming like the big man, mommy. And you know, he's obviously trying to make it seem like someone came in and murdered his
and it
mom.
worked.
It did work.
It worked.
Because we fast forward 40 years and he's still working on this puzzle.
Never could finish.
Yeah, so this is where we basically learn that our kid, you know, from the beginning is grown up now, and he wants to build kind of the perfect woman. He opens up a drawer and he's got not only the puzzle in there, but he's got a box with I'm assuming his mother's shoes. I don't know, some of his shoes in there,
yeah.
and
And the dress.
and everything. And as the movie progresses, he's, you know, it'll show him piece the puzzle together, and then, you know, like, oh, now he's looking for a set of boobs, and now he's looking for a set of elbows, and
Some arms,
so on and so
yeah.
forth. Yeah.
Lower half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really did. I enjoyed this one a lot. I think some of the characters that we're introduced to are pretty cool. You've got let's go ahead and discuss. So we're on a college campus, okay, and there is a girl sitting outside or laying outside on the lawn of the campus, and she's studying. And there's a
Sunning her butt cheeks.
sunning her butt cheeks, yeah. And there's a guy behind her with a chainsaw. And he starts it up, and you're thinking like groundskeeper or something like that. And then, you know, she asks him like, "Hey, you know, are you gonna be long? Because if so, I'll pick another spot." And he even responds, and he's like, "No, only a few minutes," you know. And you think like, "Oh, it's probably a groundskeeper," but no, it's this masked killer, like with like a little cloth over his face, basically, and some goggles, comes up and chops her head off. Right,
Broad
Decapitates
daylight.
her.
Broad
just,
daylight
Yeah,
comes from in front of
decapitates
her.
her.
Yeah.
On campus. She's like studying. Yeah, that's one of the things I like about this movie is that it's there's the mystery aspect. It kind of gives you a bunch of suspects. You've got the dean of the school. You've got the weird, the anatomy professor.
Yeah.
You've
Mr.
got
Brown.
the other student, the student who's kind of, he always seems to be in the wrong place, even though the police just the cop just immediately
trust
has
him
the
with
kid
his
help
life.
him do
Yeah.
everything and says, I would trust him with my life and all
Yeah,
this shit.
and I think it's funny too, like just to show the level of competency for these police officers, like or detectives or whatever they are. When one of them, so this is a cop, goes up to these two male students, and says, "Hey, the dean wants to see you in his office in 30 minutes." They're like, "What? Are we suspects? You just better show up." It's like, if they were suspects, which they initially were, why would he give them a 30-minute window? It doesn't make a lick of sense. It's
I
like the
mean-
police officer should have went and arrested them, or at least cuffed them or whatever, and brought them into the office.
Things were different in the 80s, Brian.
That's what it was.
Yeah, porn, and fucking law enforcement were so
No,
much better.
it's just that thing. It's just that thing in these kind of movies. The cops are kind of stupid.
Oh yeah, they're
Nobody
dumpy.
does things that make any sense. And plus, this is made in Spain, right? Is
So it was filmed
Spanish
in
director?
Spanish director. It was filmed partially in Boston, and then the rest of it. over
yeah,
there,
which is why you'll notice European things like they're drinking tea,
Yeah.
right.
and then they're doing the double the kiss on each cheek.
Yeah.
And then you see the guy's dong later. All these things are very European.
Yeah, dick is. If I see a dick, it's a telltale sign. It's a
Floppy wiener. Probably European.
So yeah, the where were we before we went on the rant about the
Killed the girl.
We got the first
sunbathing, two
chainsaw
cops.
kill.
Yeah.
And then we got the goofy cops. So
Yeah,
we're
and-
kind of into this investigation.
Oh yeah, that's right. You were kind of talking about how many suspects, and I do agree. It actually, as silly as this one is at times, and as kind of ridiculous decisions are made, I do agree that it kind of. When I was first watching it, I was like, well, fuck, I don't know, because we also have Willard, who is our groundskeeper kind of a guy,
Oh yeah, him too, yeah.
who he
Who
carries,
actually was using the chainsaw.
using a chainsaw
on the
That-
bushes
yeah.
and stuff. Yeah.
And it's heavily implied with him for the most part of the movie, because I can't remember the guy's name, but he was a Bluto in the old Popeye movie with Robin Williams and shit. He's been I was looking through his credits earlier. He was in some Jackie Chan movie. He's got like a shit ton of stuff.
They
He's
made
been in.
him. It was overly. We really want you to think it's him.
Yeah,
He's
got
like
this face. And
he's grinning at his chainsaw, looking at it
Like
lovingly.
polishing it and
Yeah,
stuff.
and just he's got his one eye. He's always popped out, and he's looking angrily at everything. And then at one point, we have another murder, the pool murder, which this was great. I love the whole setup for this. So we have the kid, whatever his name. What was his name? Do you remember?
The one that
Fuck,
gets
I don't
it
know.
in.
The fro.
Yeah.
winter sweater.
So
kid.
this is a kid. This is a kid that's getting all the pussy on campus.
Yeah. And let me tell you, whenever you see this and you see this kid, you're thinking,
Yeah, he's
what? It would be it's like casting me in the role of that Brad Pitt's been in a
Another-
movie or something.
He's like
It's
he's
it
like
doesn't
the
make any
math. He's like a
sense.
math. He's like a nerd. Nerdy
Yeah,
looking
yeah,
kid.
yeah.
Another telltale
But
sign
yeah,
that
he's
it's
si-
European.
Yeah, exactly. He had a fanny pack and everything. He's sitting there, and a girl tosses him a note and is like, "Hey, let's go to the pool or what?
Let's have sex underwater.
Yeah, I want to know what it's like to have sex underwater." And he's like, "Oh." He reads the note and he throws it toward the garbage can. It doesn't fall in, but it falls beside it. And then immediately in the middle of the library, you see, and this whole movie kind of does the thing where it's showing the killer's feet. It's showing the killer's he's got a black coat with rubber gloves.
Yeah, like a trench coat kind of.
Yeah,
deal,
so
rubber
he's in the
gloves, hat.
library, leans down and picks up the note.
And this is where we
Nobody
find out.
sees this man.
Yeah, this is where we find out it's an environmental movie. It's about saving the environment.
Yeah, no,
No,
I
I'm
get that. But so then she goes, she strips down and gets topless. Very, very nice. This movie's got a good, healthy amount of.
Boobs.
It gets a 5 out of 5 for boob content for me. So she does that. The killer leaves another note to keep him away, and then he goes and kills her. Also chainsaws her beside the pool.
Yeah, grabs her with a net,
Yeah.
I guess, to get debris out of the pool. Puts it on her, drags her up. Very gently and nicely lays her down.
And then she lays down and archers her back and sticks her tits
Oh
out
yeah, you
and
could
just
totally tell that the director was like, just a
don't.
little bit more.
I'm
yeah.
scared.
Before that, like the killer is walking behind like these.
Yes.
What is it? What were those things?
It looks
called?
like bookshelves that are not like the
Yeah.
back's not on them.
Just like
I'm like, why are you
slats.
walking behind this?
And creepy.
You have
like
yeah,
trying to hide.
There's so much space in front of it. Just walk up. Why are you hiding behind this?
Yeah.
So the killer saws her up and leaves the chainsaw there. So there's blood everywhere. There's pieces of her there. The killer takes some pieces, leaves her there, and then we have this perfect timing where we have the nerdy kid show up, and then we have Willard show up, and the kid thinks Willard. So Willard gets arrested. So all this loop, I still remembered my point. All this loops around to they're trying to to make it look like the groundskeeper is the one that is doing this.
I like how Willard just like went batshit crazy.
He just immediately started beating people up. He's like beat up 4 cops.
Yeah, he's a badass.
Yeah,
man.
he's huge. Yeah. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, so then we just kind of we continue on with a bunch of like it keeps making you want to change your mind on who it is. The what was he, an anatomy professor?
Yeah.
Okay, it starts leaning more heavily towards him that he could be a suspect. Then, the kid, it kind of does it with him a couple of times. So let's keep the people listening caught up here. So we're introduced to a couple of new characters, or a new character. I can't remember her fucking name.
Sally.
Maggie?
Sally?
Mary.
I thought it was Maggie.
I think it's Mary, actually.
Magdalene.
Mary Magdalene. Yeah.
The tennis player.
She's good at immaculate conceptions and tennis.
Immaculate receptions.
So there's a famous tennis player who is
Also a
cop because that's her actual job, and she's been hired to act like she's the new tennis coach
Oh, she's been
on
volunteered.
campus so that she can investigate what's going on. So
He's completely inept. I don't.
She's the right woman for the job.
yeah, it's so strange.
She has the right blonde hair and big tits for the job.
We
Yeah.
were gonna have 2 women, but decided to go with 1.
We couldn't afford 2. We just went with 1, and then we had the kid just kind of sort of help her out.
Yeah. So the kid who was our very first suspect, he is now helping the police because they don't
I
have
trust him
enough
with my
people,
life.
and the
Which is,
lieutenant.
yeah, it's funny because they never mention him being a suspect at all at first. It's just the main detective guy, the chief or whatever, is just like, this kid. I trust him 100%.
You just met him like not even an hour ago.
And then eventually, near the end of the movie, when he has the kid doing something else, the other cop is like, "Man, he's a suspect. What are you doing?" He's like, "No, he's got this. He's got it." I'm like, at least they acknowledge that weird plot. Oh, somebody was like, this doesn't make sense. He's like, "Oh, okay. I guess I'll have the other cop say something about that."
We put all the budget into research.
Tennis research.
So something interesting happened to tennis cop lady. I like that. So
Starring Linnea Quigley.
tennis cop. So she's walking around the campus. She's got her flashlight. She's being a very good cop. If you've ever seen a cop movie, she's doing
Detecting.
it. Yeah, she's detecting. Yeah. And all of a sudden, we're introduced to our best friend Chow.
Oh yeah.
You never met him before.
Now,
This is so weird.
as everyone knows, it is mandatory to put in at least one kung fu scene in a movie.
Yeah.
It does not matter how you do it, as long as it's in there.
It's not a movie unless it's there.
So she's walking around, she's got her flashlight, la-di-da-di-da. And yeah, this guy comes around the corner and he just starts, going
swinging.
into kung fu, doing all this
Bruce Lee
kick.
shit.
She ends up kicking him in the stomach, and he falls flat on the ground, and then Joe Schmo fucking kid who's working with the cops now comes riding up on his motorcycle. He
he was fucking another
Yeah, he was
chick.
fucking the other
Yeah,
chick and
yeah,
left
yeah,
in
yeah.
the middle of it.
She had some good torpedo titties. You know
That one?
Yeah, the one.
Yeah.
Which one is this?
The one that said she'd be okay with being gagged.
Oh,
She
that's
was being
right.
too
See, I
loud.
completely forgot
Yeah.
about that scene. Yeah.
Well, that's where you saw his dong. too.
Yeah.
That reminds you.
Yeah. Ding. Dong. Yeah. So he comes up and the guy stands up. Chow stands up and the guy's like, "Oh, here's my good friend Chow." You know, or no, he's his kung fu instructor. Yeah, or karate instructor or whatever it was. And this is the excuse. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I must have had some bad."
No. How did he say it?
Huh?
Uh,
Oh, I'm not going down this path.
Well, listen, we didn't. The movie did. It is the stereotypical.
Asian man. In the
Oh, I'm
80s.
so sorry.
Yeah.
Had some bad
I
chop
had no idea what
suey.
I was doing. That's a terrible accent.
Ate some bad kung pao or
Kung Pao or chop suey, something
yeah,
like
something
that.
like that. It was really
When he leaves, he says, "So wrong."
yeah.
Yeah.
And it really is. He's in and he's out. Like it was just
It's like a 30-second fight, and then he leave. It is
the
It's
weirdest
hilarious.
thing. Yeah. And then so I guess we need to bring up to well, we don't have to. But after this scene, we have already been introduced to this publicist or like not a publicist. She's a fucking like
A
writer,
reporter.
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 Yeah, she's a reporter.
always nosing into shit.
Yeah, she's creeping around the building and stuff. And what the hell was she even in this for?
Oh,
She
just to
she
have another
knew
chick be murdered.
Yeah.
Well, she knew something was going on.
Something
at
was
the
going on. They
campus.
weren't reporting.
Yeah, because
that,
the whole thing at the beginning,
murders were
they
happening.
wanted to try to
Keep it under wraps.
the cops didn't want it out. The dean, of course, didn't want it out there. So they wanted to try to keep it under wraps. Somehow she had heard about it, so she started to snoop around campus. And I actually thought this was the best kill in the movie. I love this.
Okay.
Where they're fighting. You know, he attacks her, and they're fighting this room, and she gets thrown onto the waterbed.
That's right.
And
I was
then-
trying to remember which
Yeah.
way she was killed.
So
yeah.
then he's stabbing her in the chest, and then his knife goes aside and stabs the waterbed. So you see the waterbed, the water starts, coming out of the waterbed, and then it's just like this shot up in the ceiling coming down, and it's like you just see this woman just completely covered in water and blood in this in this big pool, and he's just stabbing her.
Yeah.
It just looked awesome.
In retrospect, because we did learn one thing that a character in this movie told us that there's nothing better than having sex on a waterbed while
high.
smoking weed.
Yeah.
So we should have seen this coming. There was no weed and there was no sex. And I also do want, like, I'm with you. I love that scene just because the way it actually looks, it legitimately looks cool. But I do think and I understand why, but it's clearly just a waterbed sitting in a garage. There's. Yeah, they didn't even attempt to make this look like a bedroom. There's a brick wall and a fucking garage door.
Well, it
was
wasn't.
a-
It
was
was
like
on
a-
a campus.
yeah,
it
it was
wasn't
like a
supposed to
massage
be a
type
bedroom. Yeah, it
thing,
was like
yeah.
a massage.
Because there was a massage table in there too. So it's
Yeah.
like
Really?
just a,
Yeah,
I didn't
it-
catch that.
initially
Kinda
when
like a
she
recovery
fell, it
thing,
was to
yeah.
the side onto a massage table.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
See,
All right,
him
so it's a
noticing
massage table.
Him noticing all those details.
It's a massage
Yeah.
table
Come in
and a
handy.
waterbed in a garage there.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're running.
Now I
okay.
still don't understand why you would have a waterbed in there. That's
Although-
still weird to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking about it. Ooh, they got a waterbed at campus now.
Yeah, you
The one
fucking
thing
there.
that mars it though is when he turns her over on the waterbed and then stabs her in the back of the head, and you see the fake knife bend in half to the side.
Yeah.
But then it comes out through her mouth, which was cool. It's just
Yes.
they should have cut it like, you should
Yeah.
have cut that little piece off there.
Yeah, this
We'll do it.
one is not. It is very bloody. I love it. There's a lot of scenes where you've got he cuts this one chick's arms off in an elevator, and there's this you'll just see like blood like kind of like from one of the corners of the screen, just sort of being tossed up, and it looks cool though. It's awesome.
I like how the doctor tried to save her life. She's still alive, and they pull her out for a second. No, she's done.
Yeah, nothing we can do. Yeah.
Because that's what I said. Like, he's like, well, she's still alive. He's like, wow. And then they're like wheeling away this body, and they like with a sheet over it, and but you could see like the blood splatters on each side. I'm like, that doesn't look alive to me. He's
Yeah.
like, well, didn't make it. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and start gearing towards the end. We've tennis lady was playing a match with a girl. That girl's been killed. The reporter's been killed. Fucking, we've had, it's probably like 6 or 7 deaths, something like that.
Yeah.
Is that maybe a little high?
Well,
maybe 5.
are we counting the mom?
We got mom.
Okay, mom.
We've got butt cheek
cheeks,
girl.
yeah.
Yeah.
What was after butt cheeks?
Pool girl.
Full girl, yeah.
There's some. Let's just say there's some deaths.
No, I want to know.
Pool girl. After pool girl is
Reporter lady.
is it reporter?
Or tennis girl.
Tennis girl. Reporter lady, tennis girl.
Yeah.
And then our final.
No, dance girl.
Dance. Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Dance
dance
girl.
girl.
Yeah, dance
And
girl.
then it was tennis
And
girl.
then tennis girl.
So
And then tennis lady.
tennis.
Yes.
Cop
yeah.
lady.
You want to be?
So our final, yeah. So where we go, we'll wind down to the end of this.
Yeah.
Once again, the police chief or whoever chief detective says that kid's got something. He's got gumption. He's got smarts. He'll figure it out. So he sends the kid with the other cop to go look at some files. Let's go look at some files.
Find anything in there that has to do with any of the staff.
Anybody find a
Yeah.
thing.
Find a thing. Plan it if you have to.
Yeah.
I've been up for fucking 5 days straight, living on Wendy's and cocaine.
And they find that one personnel faculty has changed their name.
Yes.
And then they go and they find that name and they find out, oh, this
This is
this
it.
person, when he was a kid, his mother was murdered and cut into pieces.
Yep.
So they're like, oh, well, obviously it's now the dean. We find out it's the dean. At the same time, the dean is now poisoning. He's drugging cop
yeah.
tennis lady.
Wants more coffee.
Tennis cop.
Yeah, she wants coffee.
Yeah, constantly.
Just needs more coffee. He gives her two heaping helpings of coffee.
Yeah, so they come in. They're investigating. They don't see. They see the woman, the tennis cop. She's laying there. She's clearly awake, but she can't move or talk because of the drugs.
She's trying to tell them.
Yeah, and then she is the whole time. She's like looking at the curtain that the dean is hiding behind.
The curtain's moving.
Fucking curtain. God,
I was just like, I guess there's nobody here.
of all the foot scenes that were in this, I don't know why they didn't choose to show the old feet coming out from underneath
Right,
the fucking
yeah.
curtain scene.
just shuffling underneath the nervously shuffling around.
So the cops are investigating the house, leaving Joe Schmo first kid.
Hey, you stay behind. Try to get her up.
Yeah, he's helping her stand up, and then
Like,
the
oh,
dean.
it's okay. Yeah, you're fine. You're fine.
Yeah.
And she's just like,
You'll be running a marathon before you know it. And then the dean comes out, jumps on top of the guy. The woman's just kind of laying there. There's a little bit of a wrestling match. Police come in, shoot the dean
Right
in the head. It looks just like literally someone just took like a red Sharpie, went,
Yeah.
and
like it was shot with a paintball gun. In the
yeah,
forehead.
it is exactly what it looks like. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's kind of weird too, with as bloody as this movie is. But anyway, so that's
Wait. That's not.
well, it's not
entirely
it.
the end.
It's not it.
Do we need
But yeah,
to
that's the end of that
discuss
part.
the end?
Oh fuck
Oh,
yeah!
This is
Fuck
was
yeah.
awesome. This is great.
Yeah, so we got a conversation between one of the police officers and Joe Schmo, and he's like, "Yeah, so you ready to be a cop?" And all this good stuff. And
You're kidding.
he leans up against the wall, and this happens
find the
so
secret.
fast, so fucking fast. It's great. He leans against the wall, but wait, it's not a wall, and it rotates, and on the other side of this wall is
The piece together women into
Frankenstein
one
woman. Yeah, basically the pieces just they fall on him, and he's just screaming. I mean, just
I would-
top
and
of
she-
his lungs.
and that body is just smiling.
Yes.
This was awesome because I had actually completely forgot about the fact that he was piecing this body
Mm-hmm.
together.
Okay.
So it was surprising. I was like, oh yeah, there's that part of it
Yeah.
is still around there, and yeah, it falls on him, and it's just perfect, and he's just screaming his head off in such an over the top kind of way.
But
was
wait,
great.
there's more.
There is more.
So he stands up, and they're starting to leave. The cop's like, "You doing okay?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm much better now." Like nothing fucking happened. Oh wait, I forgot my coat. Turn around, and then
Frankenstein lady reaches up
Yeah.
and grabs his dick and tears it off.
yeah, like fucking werewolf claw to
Fingers
the groin.
into his groin, bloody scratches. Which that goes into one of those things like the end of Christmas Evil, where you wonder if that actually happened or if they just sort of threw in this shock moment. Do you know what I mean? Like this,
I think in this
weird
one,
thing.
at least in my opinion, I think
it
in
was
this one
supposed
it was
to be
supposed to be real.
an undead
Yeah.
tearing his dick off for
I
his
think
sex
so.
crimes against all the co-eds.
Yeah.
Yeah, that part I feel like they could have left that out.
Oh, it was completely
Yeah,
unnecessary.
yeah,
like
that was
100%. Yeah.
It was just like one thing too many, but it was
I kinda
funny. I mean,
I kind of wonder if there's like a non-director's cut or something like that maybe they did. It seems like something that is included on like a director's cut. Like, oh wait, this would be kind of cool, that maybe got scrapped at the end, but I don't know. I have no idea. Yeah, all that to say, I love this one. You guys okay if I start off?
Yeah.
So this one is very funny in that cool, unintentional way. It's very entertaining. I do have to actually applaud the guessing game that you have going on through it. I think it's pretty well put together. This time period is very well known for sort of slower paced stuff. I do think this one has that. The exciting parts are very enthralling, though. So I'd say for me, I think a fair grade on this one would be a 4. I'm going to go with 4 buckets.
Patrick.
What was the deal with the therapist? You heard nothing about that?
That's true. It's just a totally empty. Joe Schmo went to the therapist
It was just
to try to
have
find
him
out.
in there to meet the tennis cop lady
Yeah.
and go, "Oh, you're a famous tennis person."
Yeah, but that was a quick interview. It's like, oh, I'm done. But anyways, I'm gonna give this about a 4 as well. I enjoyed it. It was fun. A lot of boobs. That's about it. I don't really have much anything else. I was really hoping there would be a sequel, but apparently not.
Yeah, I was reading that. I guess there was. They wanted to. That's all I know. They were. It was planned to try to gear towards one, and then it just didn't happen. So
I'm surprised at you guys. This is 5 all the way for me. 5.
I just had to
buckets.
deduct 1 just because, I do think there are some of those timing issues to me were enough. Where it's just like, it's not like I wasn't enjoying the story as it progressed, but I'm one of those people where I guess I'm a sucker, and I'm kind of on the wrong end of this. I should be more. I don't know. I don't really know the word I'm looking for, but when I see a beginning like that or something, I do kind of I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be nonstop.
You felt it was getting slow?
I felt there were some parts that just kind of dragged. Like I said, the story was always fine with me, but there's a lot of long moments with just kind of clunky dialogue, which I do think is funny.
Professor Brown knew how to speed it up.
Yeah,
That one scene.
Yeah.
I like a lot of these movies like this. I don't know if it's because it's a Spanish director and it's in English, but a lot of the phrasing, a lot of the way everyone speaks is slightly weird.
Yeah.
And I always love that. Mm-hmm. Whether it's because of this or it's just because the person that made it is crazy, like a lot of the movies we've watched, it's always awesome. And I would love to be able to find a way to intentionally do that, you know what I mean, in making something, which I think is, people try to do it, but they can't.
They try, and it suffers.
But it might be possible if you really can figure out the essence of being in that crazy headspace. It might be possible. But yeah, so I love that weird dialogue and just the weird. Sometimes it seems like they are just straight reading their lines because it is overdubbed, and just the way that they're it's just one sentence, and then the next sentence they were said separately and then pieced together. There's a few times like that. So yeah, I think that shit's funny. But yeah, I was telling them earlier when we started this, I'm feeling like in subgenres of horror and stuff like that, I feel like the slasher is becoming my favorite. I guess it's just the whole, naked girls getting cut up and the gore and shit. I just love it.
the tropes,
the hunting and all that shit. I love it, man.
Yeah.
The thrill of it. How are they going to figure out to defeat it? I love all that shit.
The tropes and that, like you said, that subgenre are great because it's like, okay, what are some staples? Gratuitous nudity, gratuitous blood and guts, and you don't like, I don't know, what's the word? Like, you don't like critique it like you would another movie because you're like, this is just what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just, you basically either have boring, which, like I said, even though I think this one was slow, I'm just trying to give like a fair judgment and not a biased one on this one. Like, this is not a boring movie. Some of them are just like I watched one not too long ago called The Prowler, and I'd heard so much about it. It had been raved about. It's got great reviews. I thought that movie was fucking boring as hell. I could not. I was like, I mean, I finished it, but I was like, Jesus Christ. Like, there's an ending sequence, and this is no exaggeration. At least 10 minutes is just complete silence and like a little bit of floor creaking and stuff, and this woman walking around this house like trying to get out, and I'm like, give me something, so anyway there is good ones and there's bad ones, of course, but yeah, I'm with you. I love slashers, and that was something that I wasn't really all that well versed on until a few months ago. That's Steve and I on Saturdays, we intentionally try to pick a slasher. So yeah, I've been watching a lot lately, and I agree, I like them, and it's a lot easier to find good ones than like paranormal, like horror and stuff. There's so many more slashers.
But yeah, and then this one, like we already mentioned, it has that mystery aspect where it actually gives you these suspects. Because usually, most of these, it seems like you kind of have a backstory. Either you have a backstory that introduces some deranged person that is just basically has turned into a monster and is just sort of like mechanically going through killing people. But this one, he still has that, but it's still offering you reasons why you might think it's somebody else, which, adds that, that interesting element into keeping you guessing as to who it might be. So,
Sure.
Yeah, so definitely five for me, 5 out of 5.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. We have spoken. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 1 and 2
always
and
have
3
one dance
4
gym
and 5
scene.
and 6 and 7
Tammy and the T-Rex.
1 and 2 and
80s
3
and 90s.
4 and
Just
5 and 6 and
the
7
high,
and
like
8
that high
and
cut,
1
like
and 2 and
Oh
3.
yeah, you
thing.
got to show
I love that.
that little
I'm a big-
line. Yeah,
I'm a big fan of
little
that.
cut. Or the hip bone.
The 80s.
Yeah.
That 80s look.
The hip bone's connected to the puzzle piece. Puzzle piece connected to the foot bone. Foot bone connected piece. Yeah.
No more shiny hair.